What's up, guys? This is Corey Baker from Baker Forge and Tool. In my business, we do tons of heavy grinding every single day, and we needed a grinder that could take abuse and keep on trucking without slowing down billet production. The Ameribraid variable speed 2x72 is just that. All heavy duty parts and framing with well thought out accessories that are easy to use and not bogged down with lots of tiny parts. By far the best accessory item that Ameribraid sells is their surface grinding attachment. It is absolutely foolproof and the best in the industry. With quick release magnet system, there is no prying your workpiece off the platen. Very fast to slap a billet or a knife onto the table, engage magnets, and start surfacing with precise increments. On top of all of this, their customer support is outstanding. Eric and Kevin are always available and fast to help with any situation. If you're in the market for a top-of-the-line grinder, or maybe just an accessory to add to your existing setup, go to ameribraid.com and use the code HUSTLE100 for $100 off any grinder package. All right, next up, the Hustle and Grind Podcast.
What's up, everybody? We're back again on our own show. It's good to be home. You got me, Ryan Chadboard Knife Works, with Noah from the Eniat River Forge, and today we got Brent from Peen Forge on. What's going on, Brent?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Did you just call him Bent?
I did. I didn't mean to.
Don't
Why'd
worry.
you have to call me out on it?
Because it was funny. Welcome to our show. We're gonna mispronounce your name, and then it'll be in lowercase when we post it, probably too. So.
My boss was giving me shit at work the other day for writing everything in lowercase on the computer. I'm like,
dude. I get crap every week from people like, why can't you capitalize people's names? And I was like, that's not me. Text Ryan. Tell Ryan that. All right. So Brent, I apologize for the misnaming there.
My bad.
Yeah. So we don't normally do like a full deep dive interview on our show, but I have to admit, I've talked to you a couple times on Instagram and stuff, but I don't know that much about you. So let's hear where you're from, maybe when you started making knives, and another fun fact.
So I'm from California, unfortunately, and
North or south?
It's central. I'm originally from San Jose, but right after high school, I moved down to the Central Coast with my parents and started going to Cuesta College out here, and that didn't last long because I ended up having my first son, who just graduated a couple days ago. So,
right on.
But
congratulations.
Thank you. But been down here ever since, and as far as California goes, it's actually a pretty nice area and kind of country vibes and small towns and stuff. So,
right on, man.
So, my experience with California when I lived out there was, it's not so much north and south anymore as it is east and west. Like Eastern California is a different type. That's where the red area California is, and then the coastal is all California.
Yeah, and so I'm actually probably considered coastal. I'm about 20 to 30 minutes from the beaches and stuff. So, but still kind of inland and more country-ish.
Rural.
So, yeah.
Gotcha.
So,
That's what I loved about California was I was up in Redwood country, and you were never a half hour away from anything. I mean, the beach was one way, mountains were another way. You could go skiing. It was crazy.
Yeah, we got a lot of mountain areas around here, and then the beaches right next to them, so you can kind of have the best of both worlds on that part. So.
That's crazy. That's such a unique geographical location to be that close to both things. Even in Washington, I mean, when I lived over on the coast, I mean, I was still at least an hour from the beach, and that's, I don't know if you guys are familiar, but the Puget Sound is this massive sound with like islands in it and everything. Like to get to the ocean, like you'd have to drive probably minimum, I would say 3 hours from where I used to live. And now I'm way far away from it. And you're still hour minimum from like the being in the mountains. So it was still pretty far away. But yeah, to be that close to everything in that area of California must be pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's nice in that aspect. So there's pros and cons to everywhere, I guess, but it's the scenery is definitely one of the good things about it. So.
Right on, man. So when did you get into knife making?
So I started a couple years ago, but it's been really like off and on, just whenever I have time. Um, right now, I have my family stuff, of course. Like I have 3 kids. I'm going to school full time, and I've been a meat cutter and managed meat departments for about in the meat department for the last 20 years. So, but I was a manager for 15 years, and it was just going nowhere, and I wanted to do something different. So I'm back in school now and trying to get out of there.
Right on. So you have a pretty decent experience with bladed instruments, I would imagine, working in meat for that long. And then also, what are you going to school for now?
Right now I'm kind of doing a double major of business and English. Just trying to get something that can open different doors, and but I'm actually gonna take some welding classes too while I'm in, just because I suck at welding, and
Don't we all?
It can be helpful, I guess, with making
Sure.
knives and stuff. So, but
yeah, if you know how to weld, that opens all kinds of doors. That's for sure. And business classes are always helpful for anybody, pretty much in any field. I definitely wish that I've talked about this a lot, but I always wish that I had more of a business acumen, more of that sort of mindset. So that's something that's always tough. So was it the meat cutting that kind of got you into knives, or was there some other catalyst that happened to make you want to do that?
It was partly the meat cutting, and partly my son was really getting into watching Forged in Fire and stuff, and uh, so he said, "Oh, we should do something like that." And so I said, "Okay, let's try it and see what we can come up with." And so I wanted to make some knives that I could use at work, and of course, the first handful of them were just absolute garbage, and so just kind of kept working at it until I got something that I could actually use, and just kind of went from there. And now it's turned into something that I try and get out there every time I can, and spend as much time as I can working on them and having fun with it. So.
Awesome, man. So I scroll on your Instagram, and it looks like you had like a selection of railroad spike knives. Were those some of your first ones that I saw there?
Yeah, those were some that I was just trying to get some practice and hammer technique and stuff like that, just when I was starting out, and kind of made them as Christmas presents and stuff. Just started giving them away, and
Yeah.
But it was good practice for me, and but that was it's what I tried to work on a lot when I was first starting out. So.
Yeah, my first knife was a railroad spike too, because I had a couple laying around, and so it worked. I'm actually getting kind of back into that right now, because I can't remember who was. I think we were talking to Jason Knight, And he just kind of like threw out randomly. He's like, yeah, if you really wanted to, you could just make like 100 railroad spike knives and just sell them for whatever. And like stuck in my head. And I'm like, that's a good idea. Cause I do a lot of markets here in the summertime. We have a ENEAT makers market. And I'm like, if I just forged out a bunch of railroad spike knives, I could just kind of sell those and people could give them as gifts. Like I don't have to charge a whole lot for them. There's no handle. Are they the best steel? No. Are people really going to use a railroad spike knife? Probably not. So I've
It's a
definitely have a lot of.
novelty thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Is
a
it?
novelty. Like it doesn't have to be like a high use carbon steel. I've been doing some research. Shout out to the Barefoot Forge. They had a really great article about different types of steel that are used in railroad spikes, and there's actually higher carbon railroad spikes that are made for different applications. So I'm really looking forward to it. I made one the other day, and it was just a blast. It was so great. I mean, I love forging. I've always talked about that, but just they're easy to forge. It's a lot of fun. I mean, yes, it's cool to make mosaic patterns and stuff, but just to like the act of forging and just kind of forging it as close to shape as you can, like it's such a fun thing to do. And it was really great to do something fun again, instead of the work of, fine details and trying to fit things up perfectly and all the other stuff that we get into the more we progress. So
yeah, those are fun projects to make, and even though there's not a lot to them, when you give them away to people, they're like stoked to have them and get really excited about them. And same thing with those little stake flippers that you can make from railroad spikes. Like I've had a lot of people really like those, and those are quick, fun projects to do too. So.
I have some
I
high
haven't-
carbon railroad spikes if you want them. I ain't gonna use them.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
I'll dig them out. I'll send them to you.
Sick.
They're just collecting rust in my shop.
Perfect. Yeah, I just ordered some off of eBay. Actually, there was a couple different sellers on there that had them, and I'm like, well, shoot, I'll just get some higher carbon ones. Someone
What do they
commented
go
on my
for?
post. The spikes?
Yeah.
Oh, they're cheap. It was like $20 or $30 for a pack of them.
Oh, yeah, that's cheap. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I mean, there's barely any cost of materials. I'm not putting handles on them. I'm doing like some twists. I got a couple ideas for some cool twist handles and some different blade shapes. And honestly, I'm just gonna forge it, and whatever blade shape comes out, like I'm just gonna go with that. Just make some different stuff. The one I forged the other day had a little bit of a recurve to it. I haven't made a recurve in a while. Like that was kind of fun, and it's just forge out the bevels. I was actually kind of impressed with myself because it's been a while since I've forged something like close to shape. I was like, oh, man, I forged like a distal taper on this thing. I forged the bevels in good. It felt really awesome. So yeah,
Dude,
those are. Go ahead.
That feather Damascus you made was fucking amazing.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I actually just finished it. That's what I was. That's the reason I was kind of late to this podcast is because I was finishing that. I put a handle on it and it's actually pretty much done. So I've been talking about that project for a very long time, and it's actually finally finished. So I'm very. It's like it's one of those things where like you want to be relieved, but you're still like nervous about it for some stupid reason. Like that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, that was a boner-worthy pattern, and it looked really good. Can you
Thanks,
guys
man.
see this fucking monster fly that's flying around my shop?
I saw one a couple times. Yeah,
he's pissing me off. I got
You
my
think
little
with the
salt
amount
gun
of-
here.
you think with
Cigarette
the amount of
smoke?
yeah? I mean, why isn't he gone? Like they don't like smoke. I mean, if anybody has ever not watched the YouTube version of this podcast, Ryan is generally obscured by a cloud of smoke. I wouldn't think there'd be any insects near him anywhere.
I chain smoke on the podcast bad. It's a problem. But I have one of them little bug assault guns, this thing.
Yeah, those things are awesome. It's the same
He's
one
too
I got.
quick. I can't hit him. He's too quick. But I figured something out for all the listeners. So if you have a lot of flying insect problems in your shop, shut off your dust collection and shut off your air filtration and grind some G10. It kills them, dude. They fall right out of the air.
You'll get a little bit of cancer, but no insects.
Well, flies don't have respirators on.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, wear a respirator, guys. Sorry, I forgot.
Yeah.
We do. Yes, we do always wear respirators. Yes.
PPE police will shut us down if we don't talk about respirators and eye protection.
See, I suck at remembering to put a respirator on, but I will never, ever be in my shop without eye protection. That is one thing that I am like 100% all the time. As soon as I walk into my shop, I put eye protection on. And I hate the scratched lenses and stuff because like, I don't know, it just bugs me. So I will, whenever I go to Harbor Freight, I buy like 10 of their like $1.50, $2 like cheapo eye protection. And as soon as they get scratched, I just throw them away, reach into my toolbox, and grab another pair. That way, I'm always like, there's never an inclination to ever not wear eye protection because I always have clear eye protection that I can see very well out of every time.
I have my prescription glasses, and anytime I forget to, like, because I'll take them off like when I'm on the computer or whatever, and then I'll forget to put them back on, start grinding, and like when you feel the abrasives hit your face, I have like a moment of freak out where I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna go blind. I'm weird about my eyes, dude. Like when I caught that 36 to the face, that was like the first thing I checked. I was like,
can I still see?
Okay. Yeah. Oh, there's blood running down my face. Oh, that's a problem.
Brent, I see you're wearing glasses. Did you just wear those in the shop, or how do you tackle that?
Yeah, usually I'll wear my glasses, or I have a pair of old glasses that I did have. I actually made a reel about that. That I was put a band on them to fit underneath a respirator.
That was a good one. That was a good video.
And I got a few people saying like, why not just get contacts? And I hate anything near my eyes or in them, and so yeah, I usually wear these, and sometimes I'll wear the bigger goggles over the top of them.
Gotcha.
But
I tried a face shield for a while because I really I wanted to be, the other thing that sucks is it's difficult to wear a respirator with a face shield, or at least the one that I got. But I don't know. Whenever I'm wearing glasses, I always get you get stuff on the inside of them, right? So you have to clean them off. It's so hard to wipe off the inside of a face shield. I don't know. It bugs the hell out of me. So I always just wear regular safety glasses for some reason.
I have one of them Benchmarks abrasives hoods, like the face shields. And it's nice because the bottom of it is shaped to the shape of a respirator, so you can wear your respirator underneath it.
Oh, that's nice.
But I never wear it. I never put it on. It's like,
shame.
Even when I'm angle grinding. But I'm a surgeon with an angle grinder.
All right. Well, let's Brent, since we need to make this a little bit more about you, let's do a little bit of this or that. Ryan, that's your cue, buddy. Stop drinking a Monster.
I'm sorry.
Fleabag.
A little bit of this and a whole lot of that.
Would you rather fly in a submarine or swim in an airplane? Would you rather be a reindeer? Would you rather surf a wave of Kool-Aid or snowboard a mountain of Dippin' Dots? Would you rather fly or be able to breathe underwater? Would you prefer the ability to stick to walls, or would you rather shoot spaghetti from your fingers?
That's right, guys. It's time for a little bit of this and a whole lot of that. Brent, I have a large list of ridiculous questions, and you have to choose one of them. The choice is binary, like many things in life. And if you don't want to be held to these rules, then you can just choose the Jason Knight option and make fun of me for every single one of them. But here we go. Nintendo or Xbox?
Nintendo.
Damascus or San Mai?
San Mai.
Fishing or hunting?
Hunting.
Would you rather be able to understand what animals are saying, but they all speak in Shakespearean English, or have the power to change your appearance, but you can only transform into different varieties of fruits and vegetables?
I hate Shakespeare, but being an English major, I've had experience with it, so I think I'd go with the understanding animals.
Very good. Snow skiing or water skiing?
Snow skiing.
Carpet or hardwood?
I don't know. Probably hardwood because you can put rugs down, I guess.
Who knew that was going to be the hard one here? Would you rather have Would you rather have a personal cloud that follows you around and rains on command, or a pair of shoes that always teleport you to the nearest ice cream parlor?
Oh, the shoes. Teleporting shoes.
Would you rather have a pet dinosaur that you can ride to work, or a pet dragon that could cook all of your meals for you?
Well, I got married to get all my meals cooked for me, so I'd take the dinosaur.
Are you the kind of guy that pays in cash, or do you pay a card for everything?
Usually card.
Would you rather craft a chef knife that can effortlessly chop through anything, or a collector's knife that is a true work of art but not practical for everyday use?
Chef knife that could chop through every.
Would you rather have the ability to speak every language fluently, but only while doing a handstand, or have the power to control gravity, but only when you're sneezing?
What was that first one again?
Would you rather have the ability to speak every language fluently, but only while doing a handstand, or have the power to control gravity, but only when you're sneezing?
Would that also enable me to do a handstand? Because I know I can't do that. So.
Well, you'd have to learn how to do a handstand, because then you could speak every language fluently. I can't even speak English fluently.
I'll go with that one.
Okay. All right. Here's the last one. Okay, this is the hardest one. Would you rather do the dishes or laundry?
Laundry every time. I hate dishes.
What?
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. Does that include folding?
Yes, absolutely includes folding. Because I would much rather do the dishes, because I swear to God, if I cannot fold clothes, and there's something about it that is so monotonous, it makes me want to die. That's just my personal opinion. But anyways, there we go. This or that. Now we know a little bit more about Brent, and apparently dishes aren't so bad, or dishes are terrible to him, is what I meant to say. And for all the people who have DM'd me recently, I was not high while writing those questions, because I actually don't smoke. I'm the host that doesn't smoke weed, so I just have that vivid of an imagination and that amount of ability to get good prompts into ChatGPT. So there's that.
I didn't realize that I was regarded as such a stoner in the community, and then I got to Blade, and certain someone's brought me weed since I flew.
I don't think we have a single episode where the fact that you smoke weed is not brought up. So I think that might have something to do with it.
Oh. It's probably because I'm...
There's not many of them that don't talk about it.
I like weed, everybody, but I don't drink alcohol.
CrossFitters, vegans, weed smokers.
Yeah, pickle too. Pickles.
Try and get through one conversation without bringing it up. Start tensing up. Did you know that I'm vegan? Did you know that I do CrossFit? Did you know that I smoke weed? Or when you ask somebody a question and they start off their response by saying, well, as a vegan, my opinion is like this.
It usually comes up because I start coughing before I can get to the mute button.
Oh, yeah. That does happen fairly frequently.
My bad.
Oh, you're bad.
We are flea bags after all.
That is true.
Though Mareko told me at Blade that we're not flea bags, and he had heard of us previously.
He specifically said that we're not flea bags?
Well, so I said of the Hustle and Grind podcast, and our friend Brigham was standing there, and Brigham goes, one of them Fleabag shows.
Way to go, Brigham. I love you, man. That's so great. So Brent, I correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe you went to Blade Show.
No, I didn't, and I really wanted to, but that was the same weekend that my son was graduating high school. So instead,
Priorities,
I went
man.
down to
What's more
there.
important to you? Come on.
It was a toss-up.
Are you trying to say that family is more important than hanging out with a bunch of dudes and looking at knives? Come on.
He edged it out, but I also, since he lives down in Southern California, I made that a trip where I went and visited the Ameribraid shop and got to do a little tour there and bought myself a little present, one of their surface grinding attachments. So I'm really excited about that. So.
You lucky SOB. I'm jealous, man. I want to go visit their shop.
Those dudes are so fucking funny, man.
Yeah.
They're awesome guys. We're hanging out with them in the pit at Blade, and they're just bros, just like us. They're awesome.
Yeah. We love those guys.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they were still on their way back. They had some stops to make, so they weren't there, but the rest of their guys were there working, and they were just as friendly, like took me in there and showed me everything, and it was a pretty fun experience.
Nice. That's awesome. Maybe one day I'll have to get down there and visit those guys. That would be fun. That'd be a fun trip. I'd probably have to fly. That'd be a long drive, unless isn't.
What would that be, like 12 hours, 13 hours?
Yeah, it'd probably be a decent drive for me. But there's cool stuff. Like I could go see the redwood forests and what's it called? There's a park down there, Yosemite.
Yosemite?
No, I call it Yosemite because it pisses my wife off. So
your wife's not listening.
Yeah, but I have to keep it solidified in my mind so that I always mispronounce it. So the last thing I want is to accidentally pronounce it correctly.
Avenue of the Giants is really cool.
What's that?
It's like a drive-through part of the redwood forest. Like you don't even have to get out of your car.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that. Didn't there used to be a tree that you could drive through, but it's gone now?
It was there when I was there, but that was like 15 years ago.
Yeah, I think I heard that it went away. I can't remember where I heard that, but
I have pictures of young me standing inside of a hollowed out log. Like, oh my God,
Brent,
look how big it is.
Brent, have you been there? You live in the state.
Yeah, when I was younger, we used to go camping up there a lot and stuff, so...
Nice.
It's very humbling to stand next to a living organism that's 2,000 years old.
That would be pretty cool. I'd love to see that. I mean, don't get me wrong. We got big trees here in Washington, but they're not like as big as
the redwoods.
Those things are huge. I cut down one that was next to my house, and that was a trip. Let me tell you what. But it was too close to the house, so it had to come down, and that was a hell of a project, climbing up this tree. And then we set up a zip line so that we could zip down the branches and stuff. And I am not I'm a professional redneck, which means that I can do pretty much anything at a mediocre quality. And so that was a lot of fun, but I'm not a logger by any means. Maybe
I'm afraid of heights.
I'm afraid of heights too, but I did it anyways. So there may have been some manner of tree that may have at some point contacted the house. Maybe.
I was always the guy that got made fun of on roofing jobs because I had to have one hand on the roof at all times. I'm like, and this guy's walking down the edge. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? You're crazy.
Yeah. No. That fly is still hanging around you, man. That's
Dude,
crazy.
it's pissing me off. I'm telling you.
Oh shoot! All right, so
There's no food out here. I don't know where they come from. All that's out here is like chemicals and fucking grinding dust.
I don't know, man. I don't know what to
I
tell
don't
you.
either.
So, Brent, let's hear about your favorite type of knife to make. Like, what's the one thing that you make like a lot of, or is something you enjoy making?
I've been getting more into like the little like EDC knives and stuff like that, and I like making the little 3 finger kind of knives that you can just kind of carry around and have them not have too much to carry you, I guess you'd say. But I kind of go back and forth between stuff like that and chef knives. Um, but I have been thinking lately about kind of getting into doing a couple like small batches just to see if I can make anything of them and sell some. Um,
Do
but
you
I
mostly
like
do
the
custom orders?
um honestly I mostly just make stuff just to make it, and uh, I haven't sold many of them. Honestly, I've probably sold maybe about 4 knives.
Oh,
Um,
really? Wow.
I, yeah, I don't really push them, and I've gotten a few inquiries about them, but nothing much. Um, so I just kind of post them to Instagram when I'm done, and if I get any feedback on them, they're mostly all available. But for the most part, I just kind of make them just as a hobby, just to have fun and go from there.
Gotcha. So not very much just enjoying the art of knife making rather than any sort of like serious business model. Then right now, then is that right?
Yeah, yeah.
Gotcha.
I've been making like pretty much everything I do is a one-off right now. So I want to try and make some more chef knives and a couple little um, EDCs. Like I have this one that I make that's uh, like a Tonto, but also like a harpoon um, point on it. And so uh, I kind of want to make a few of those because I just like the way they look and want to make a few different styles of that one and see if I can maybe sell a few of those or something. But
Have you posted this harpoon Tonto? Because I don't think I've seen that.
I posted one. So I posted the one that I made with some chaotic artwork scales. It was going to be a um, giveaway, but when I did it as a winner's choice,
Hmm.
and the person who won picked a different one. So now I kind of just carry it around. But um, actually, it's looks like that. If I don't know if
Oh,
you
nice.
can.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
So it's not an extreme Tonto. It's just kind of like a mild tip that's on it. Then.
yeah, more of a like a swoop to it, kind of like
Gotcha.
a
Okay. Because
hybrid.
I was having a hard time there, like imagining like a harpoon Tonto. I'm like, man, what would that even look like? That sounds badass, but I couldn't
Yeah,
envision it for a moment there. But yeah, that's a cool little knife, man. I saw you did like a chef knife with some Baker forging tool. You also had another EDC that was a Damascus pattern that I'm not familiar with. Who made that other steel? It was like a raindrop Damascus over like Sanmai.
was it the Bulldog Damascus? This one I just finished this up.
Yeah, that's the one. Ah,
Oh,
man,
Uh,
the people not watching on YouTube are missing out. That's fucking nice.
it's a badass
thanks.
blade, man. Like I really like it. Did you put those scales together yourself as well?
Yeah, so that's so the steel's from Bulldog Damascus, and he makes just like everything he makes is just incredible. Uh, I was trying for a long time to get that, and he only puts out, like 3 to 5 billets at a time. And if you're not on the ball and there to snag it as soon as it drops, then you're not getting anything from it. So I was able to jump in and grab that one, and I've worked on it for a while, got the rough shape, and then I set it down and worked on other projects. But I came back to it just recently and made the scales for it out of some curly maple and the mammoth molar.
So I was wondering if that's what that was, the spacer in the middle. So that's
Yeah.
mammoth molar. Is it it's like a black dyed curly maple then, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, it's a freaking badass looking handle. I love that. I love dark dyed woods, and I especially love anything with chatoyance. So I mean, curly maple, quilted maple, that's my jam, man. I love that stuff.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I like the dark colors, but I also like high contrast. So
yes,
I've been on this like kick of Chaotic Artworks resin because it just has that kind of wow factor, and when you pair it with another like a dark wood or something like that, it just really stands out, and it's something about it that I really like. So
absolutely, man. Yeah, and it worked well because the blade, you didn't do, correct me if I'm wrong, but it didn't look like you did like a super dark etch. So it was, you could see the different layers, but it wasn't like high contrast etch, and it just had this really chatoyant look to the blade as well as the handle. But it wasn't like overpowering between the two, because that's something I struggle with, is trying not to get too crazy of a handle wood on something that has like a crazy pattern, and making them and just kind of making a match. And it seemed like you did a really good job on that one.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Yeah, his Robert from Bulldog Damascus, he does that. The random patterns that have like all these crazy designs in them, and then he puts all the nickel shims in there that make the layers separate and just stand out from each other. And it's like, as soon as he put that on there, I like fell in love with the steel, and so I had to get it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I love it. It's a very unique look. I mean, you see like a lot of similar patterns out there, and that one's definitely got a cool, unique look to it. It's a little bit different than what you normally see. And I haven't really experimented with nickel shims. I was actually talking to Pickle about that the other day, and different ways to use nickel in cladding and stuff to try and get more contrast and cool different, not even really patterns, but just different contrasts and stuff. So, but if I was going to get nickel, actually I did get some nickel, and where I got it from was Maritime Knife Supply, and they're actually a sponsor of the show. So let's go ahead and talk about Maritime Knife Supply for a second here.
Hustle and Grind is sponsored by Maritime Knife Supply. Whether you're looking for steel, abrasives, handle material, forges, epoxy, or anything for making in general, Maritime Knife Supply has you covered. And in the US or Canada, they ship faster than the great Cobra chicken goosesses that their country is known for. Go to Maritime Knife Supply, and when you buy a 10-pack of belts, get 10% off. And tell them we sent you, eh?
Thanks, Luke.
Thanks, Luke.
Luke will be on soon.
Oh, sweet. But yeah, I got some of those. He had some nickel. I can't remember. It's super thin, but I haven't used it yet. And but Lawrence carries all that awesome stuff, and we already talked a ton about Lawrence last week because we got to meet him at Blade Show, and that was freaking awesome. So go to Maritime Knife Supply.
Are you guys going to the Blade West in Utah? Or?
I won't be, no.
I have gotten a moderate amount of DMs asking me that question, and I do not know. I might. There's going to be probably a few makers there that I didn't meet at Blade, and some that I did. So it'd be cool to hang out with them again. I don't know if I'll be able to. Is that something you're going to?
Yeah, I'm that one. I told my wife, like, I'm going, nothing's stopping me from going to that one. Since I missed Atlanta, and it seems like we have something going on every time there's a Blade show. So I told her, don't make plans, and if you have them, cancel them, because I'm going no matter what. So.
Nice. So is that driving distance for you then from Salt Lake?
It's about 12 hours, I think, 12
Oh,
and a
geez.
half from me. So I'm probably going to fly, and I just want to go check it out. So,
So you're just
probably,
you're not gonna have a table. You're just gonna visit then.
yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
So,
That was definitely the way to go for me. I mean, I know Micah talked a lot about how much he loved having a table and everything, but man, I don't know if I could swing that. Like, there's just so much to see and so much to just walk around. And I mean, I didn't. We already talked about how many tables I missed and how many people I didn't actually get to meet. Um, so having a table would just almost be impossible. I couldn't sit still for that long. There's so many things, you gotta go check it out. So yeah, I definitely would love to go to Blade West. I have no idea if I'll be able to. The fall is usually a bit of a busier time for us. We usually have a lot of stuff going on between family and hunting and all different kinds of stuff. So I don't know if I'll be able to, but I'll try. I'll make an effort.
Yeah, that's what I really want to go for, is to meet people and see everything. I always talk to a lot of people on Instagram and stuff, but I've never met any of them in person. So I think it would be cool to actually get to do that. So.
Absolutely, man. It's awesome. Yeah. I'm still coming down from Atlanta. That was such a crazy high between being sleep deprived and meeting a whole bunch of people. I still am not caught up on sleep. I don't know about you, Ryan, but I'm still dragging during the day.
My sleep schedule's always fucked up. Like I was saying before we got on, I was up till 5 a.m. this morning. And like I could have stayed up till 7 or 8. I was wired.
Yeah. That's it should have been fine for you then if your sleep schedule's always like that.
Yeah, but then I sleep, like I went to bed at like 5, fell asleep at 5:30, woke up at 1 in the afternoon. And then like I'm like, oh shit. It's still 8 hours of sleep, but it's like my wife's like, it's so unhealthy. And I'm like, it's still 8 hours. I'm just instead of from like 8 to 6 or whatever, I'm doing fucking 5 to noon, 5 to 1, 4:30 to noon.
Yeah, I mean, and if if your schedule allows you to do that, then I don't see a problem with it. I have to get up and go to work for the man, so I can't do that.
I have to on Thursday and Friday, so then that throws a wrench in it because I have to be up at like 6, so it screws me all up. But that's only for another year or so. That's to pay the old ex-wife, the ex-ball and chain.
Oh, dude. So, like, my whole goal when I was growing up was I wanted to be self-sufficient enough to where my wife could stay home and raise our kids. And I've somehow, by the grace of God, have managed to do that. But my wife is talking about getting a job at the school. And she actually applied for this job at the school. And so I asked her, I was like, so how many years are you going to be needing to have this job before I can quit mine and you can be my sugar mama and I'll just stay at home and make knives all day? And she's like, yeah, you want me to retire you? I'm like, I mean, maybe. I don't know. Sounds kind of awesome. I'll stay at home. I'll do the dishes. I'll wear an apron and do the dishes and the laundry for you. If I get to stay out in my shop all day and make knives, I mean, that sounds kind of good, It'd probably kill me though. I probably wouldn't be able to. I can't operate without routine. So if I actually was like left to my own devices and was able to just kind of do whatever I wanted, I'd probably become a very unhealthy person. I need the schedule, the dependence to to get up and go the structure. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you. Yeah. The force structure. I hate the structure, but I need it in order to survive. It's very strange.
Speaking of, how did your wife feel about you meeting Ben Abbott without her?
I sent her a picture like right after I met him. I was like, babe, look, I met Ben Abbott. She was fine with it.
She's gonna be like looming in the background when we have him on the show.
Oh, that's right. I need to contact him. I forgot. Thanks for telling me.
Yeah,
yeah.
I got to contact Dave Baker too. I wanted to let the dust settle.
Yeah, that's probably good. Yeah, I did it on purpose because I was letting the dust settle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like I thought about like messaging people right after I got back from Blade, and I'm like, they're still fucking traveling. I'm like, most of the people there were flying out, or yeah.
Well, and Dave and Ben, when we were talking to them, said that they were heading right back into filming the next season, so they're going to be busy for a while, I'm sure.
Those guys are hilarious.
Oh yeah.
What did he say to us? Thank you for the paychecks or something like that.
Yeah. He's like, oh, you guys watched the show? Thanks for the paychecks. Appreciate it. When are those coming again? Or something like that.
Yeah.
We're still waiting. Made me think that there was some sort of like inside joke between them and whoever they work with to do the show. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about, but okay.
I didn't have the heart to tell him I don't watch the show.
I'm glad you did. I appreciate that.
I don't watch that shit. Yeah, no, I don't. It's not my jam. I like cartoons, and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah, you're not normal though, but I guess none of us are. So, how do you guys feel about doing one more ad? Because we have one for Phoenix Abrasives, and then doing a little bit of Where in the World is Florida Man?
Yeah, real quick on the Phoenix Abrasives. I listened back to the Blade Show post show with all 7 of us. I'm such an idiot. We played their ad twice. I'm like, we didn't play their ad, and you're like, yeah, we did. And I'm like, we're gonna do it again. And I was wrong. I was like, oh shit, I'm dumb.
Oh man,
I was still exhausted from Blade Show because we recorded that the day Noah and I got back to our houses. Or it was the morning after. Yeah, the next day. It doesn't matter. Whatever. Here's Phoenix Abrasives.
Hustle and Grind podcast is sponsored by Phoenix Abrasives, your one-stop abrasive shop. When you go to phoenixabrasives.com, click the shop icon in the upper right-hand corner to find all the abrasives you'll ever need. Check out the Incinerator 36 grit ceramic belts, along with the Trizact Gator belts that the hosts of Hustle and Grind use every day. When you check out, use code HUSTLE10 for 10% off your entire order.
Yep.
Thanks, Luke.
Met Greg at Blade Show too. Hell of a guy.
Yeah, that was fun. Oh, and I used my my blue polishing compound that wasn't a brick of cocaine, and it actually works really good for handles. So that's what Greg said. He's like, that's what you use for handles. And I'm like, oh, really? I should probably have some then. And yeah, man, I just polished up that bog oak, and it was a like a wah handle blank that I got from Rob's Wildwood. Shout out to Rob's Wildwood. I'm wearing his hat right now. And I picked that up from him at Blade, and it's like a quarter sawn one. So it's got like the figurine on 2 sides of it. And when I polished it up with that blue compound, you could see it like shining through. Oh, gorgeous. So yeah, that blue polishing compound, if you don't have some, like I didn't, I highly recommend that you get some, because the expensive wood that you buy all the time and put on your knife handles deserves it. Because
and one loaf, because it's a literal loaf, is like a lifetime supply. Like you'll never have to buy more.
Oh yeah, it'll last.
I've been using the same one for over a year, and I haven't even gotten the tip off one side.
Not even the tip.
Not even the tip. It's big. I use blue for handles, and then I'll use black on my stropping belt because it's a little more aggressive. But the blue, I like the blue because if you have any like lingering scratches you can't see, it fills them in and makes them stick right out. You're like, oh, there's a fucking scratch there.
Yeah, that's actually what I do. Is I'll go straight off I'll do my handle right off the grinder, and then I'll I'll hand sand just kind of the couple spots that I can't really reach very well on the grinder, and then I hit it with that buffer, whatever color I'm using, and it just makes those scratches stand out really well. So then I can go back in with either the grinder or the hand sanding, and get out those last few scratches. So it works really great for that. You're right.
Faux show,
Dude,
and it's
part of my
cheap, man.
process.
It's like $15. It's a literal loaf, dude. Like the TSA thought yours was a kilo of cocaine. That's why.
That's how big it is.
That's how big it is.
Big. Yeah. All right.
Do you
Let's do where in the world is. Oh, go ahead, Brent.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna ask if you guys run your buffing wheels at like a. Do you have a certain speed, or is it just the single speed? Or
Mine's a single speed. It's terrifying.
yeah.
So I have just like a cheapo Harbor Freight buffing wheel machine that I bought. I have one of the airplane, or not the air, whatever, the airway buffing wheels, I think, on one side, and then a cotton buff on the other. And the airway buffing wheel is super aggressive. I think it's a red one or a pink one. I can't remember. And I use black on that. And so I use that for polishing up my choils, like finger choils and stuff. It works really good for that, but it can also kill you in like half an instant. And then I have my cotton one that I use for my handles that I try and keep clean in case I have like lighter colored woods and that sort of thing. So I have both. And then I also have the buffing belts, like the blue felt back buffing belts from Phoenix that I run on the grinder, and those I can use at variable speed. And then I also have the black felt belt from Phoenix that you can use for buffing on the grinder, and I like that as well because that's variable speed. It's just you can't get into as many nooks and crannies with that as you can with like a loose cotton buff. That's the only thing that I keep the cotton buff for.
I use these for tight spots.
Yes, that's right. I remember you talking about those.
A 2-inch roll-lock wool pad for polishing, and since it's on like a die grinder or a right-angled die grinder, you can just like really cram it into those tight spots, and it's not gonna hurt you. Got to clamp your work down, but yeah, just want to add that in there.
I haven't seen much of those buffing belts before, but they sound pretty interesting. I have like one of the cheap Harbor Freight buffing wheels too, and then I have on that one I run kind of the same setup as you do, Noah, with the kind of the airway buff on one side and then a cotton one on the other. But then I also have one that's actually the motor out of like a spa pump, and I have that geared down to where it spins it a lot slower, and I use that on my handles. I found out like a lower speed, it kind of gives different results and works better for doing handles so I just have like a gear on the motor and then run like a fan belt from a car and onto another gear, and then that runs on a rod that has buffing wheels on each side. So.
See, that's what I'm talking about. That's professional redneck right there.
Yeah,
the motor out of a hot tub that's been geared down to run your buffing wheels at a certain speed. That is exactly what I'm talking about right there. That you don't get that kind of ingenuity many places. That's freaking awesome, man. I love that.
Yeah, it's sketchy as hell, but
no, it's fine.
But it works good. So.
Right on, man. Yeah, I love that. All right. Ryan, are you ready for some Where in the World is Florida Man?
Sure am.
Let's hear it.
Ladies and gentlemen, get ready to play Where in the World is Florida Man?
That's right, boys and girls. It's time to play our favorite game, Where in the World is Florida Man? I have a selection of 3 stories here. I'm going to read them off, and after each one, all you lovely listeners at home, Brent and Ryan, are going to get to guess, where in the world is Florida Man? We begin with a woman lived up a 180-foot, 1,000-year-old tree for 2 years to save a forest from loggers. At the age of 23, environmental activist Julia Butterfly Hill lived in a tree which was dubbed Luna in an act of civil disobedience. Her tree sit lasted from December 10th of 1997 to December 23rd, 1999. Do you believe this tree-loving environmentalist lady was from Florida or somewhere else in the world?
That sounds like California. 100%. 100%. Probably the San Jose area, maybe San Francisco.
Wow. Getting specific here.
Yeah. I'm going to have to agree, but I got to admit that a lot of these stories, I think, oh, that's definitely California. And a lot of them have been Florida. So, but I think I would also guess California.
All right, gentlemen, final answer. California?
Yep.
Yep.
You are both correct. That was, in fact, San Jose, California.
Wow. I'm good.
Damn, Ryan. Great job. That was sent in by B Cone, the one and only.
See, and I usually get them wrong. I knew where they were from on that one.
That's the best you've ever done. That's amazing.
That's how predictable that behavior is.
Yeah. Great job, guys. All right, here we go. Next one. Woman drives up ramp of tow truck, launches 120 feet down the highway. It looks like a scene from a Hollywood blockbuster. A sedan rockets into the air after driving up the ramp of a flatbed tow truck on a highway, and the whole crash is caught on video by an officer's body camera. The driver was a 21-year-old woman, the report says. She was taken to a nearby medical center with serious injuries. After landing upside down, the Nissan struck another car, then tumbled end over end before coming to a rest 23 feet down the roadway. Do you believe that this real-life Mario Kart woman was from Florida or somewhere else?
Oh, I don't remember where she was from. I watched that video. It was nuts. They were like at the scene of an already existing accident, and then the tow truck, she just GTAs it right off the back of the tow truck.
Yeah. I mean, this is something that we've all, like, it goes through all of our heads when we pass a tow truck that has, like, the ramp down, or, like, when we're driving on the highway, like, we think about it, right? We just don't ever do it. This lady either fell asleep at the wheel or she let her inner voice get the best of her, because that was nuts. The question
I'm going to go Florida. I feel like when I watched it, I was like, oh, I should send this to Noah. I feel like maybe, I don't know. I'm going to go Florida.
You're going to go Florida? Brent, what you got, buddy?
Yeah, I remember watching the video. I don't know where it was, but it was pretty crazy. But I think I'll go Florida too.
Both of you?
I'm going
Florida?
to stick with Ryan on this one again.
Final answer?
Yep.
Yeah.
This one's difficult, guys, okay? Because I don't know how to say this. You're both correct and incorrect at the same time.
Interesting.
Yeah, right. That's where I'm talking. This is. How about this? I'll put it to you, and you guys can determine whether you were correct or not. This story happened in Georgia. This was actually really close to where we were last weekend. The problem is that the driver was indeed from Florida, like a Florida car with Florida plates, but it happened in Georgia. Does this count as a Florida woman story? Or is it a Georgia story?
I don't know, but I don't ever want to drive down to Atlanta again.
Oh, full agree. Because here's the thing, like this is Georgia level driving. Like we were driving in Atlanta and there was no one there. And I mean no one who didn't want to do 20 miles over the speed limit. It was insane. Like
I almost
down there
hit a lady.
fast.
She yelled at me. Some
She
lady
yelled
yelled at me. Yeah, Noah was there. I almost hit a lady. In my defense, it was like day 3 of 3 to 4 hours of sleep, and I checked my mirrors, threw my blinker on, and instantly started to change lanes. And she fucking honk! You didn't see my car. And then she instantly knew I wasn't from there because I apologized instead of calling her a bitch.
The greatest part is that like neither of us cared because we were both so tired. We're just like, okay, no contact. We're good. All right, it's fine.
Where's the next turn?
Yeah. Yeah, it was great. So let's just go ahead. I'm just going to go ahead and say you guys were correct because it was a Florida driver, even if it is a very Georgia level driving story. And let's move on to the last one here. Man arrested on allegations that he used COVID relief funds to buy a Lamborghini. A man is facing several charges after authorities said he used COVID relief funds to buy a Lamborghini and bank millions. David Hines is being charged with 1 count of bank fraud, 1 count of making false statements to a financial institution, and 1 count of engaging in transactions in unlawful proceeds. The criminal complaint alleges that he submitted fraudulent loan applications for as much as $13.5 million in Paycheck Protection Program relief through applications to an insured financial institution on behalf of different companies. The complaint states, blah, blah, blah. He was approved for $3.9 million in PPP funds, and he allegedly then used those funds within days to buy a 2020 Lamborghini Huracan, and he banked a bunch of money. So, anyways, kudos to this guy, although I guess not really because he got arrested. So, do you believe that this COVID trickster was a Florida man or someone else?
You can drive Lamborghinis in Florida.
You can't?
You can.
Oh.
You'd never be able to drive one here. The roads are too bad. Potholes, fucking salt. Oh, yeah.
Okay. I see that. I didn't even think about that when I was writing this story up. That's an interesting point.
I don't even know if I've ever seen a Lamborghini in person because you can't drive them here. What's the point of buying one?
Well,
that sounds very Florida or Southern, like maybe LA, like wealthy Hollywood LA type deal.
It's definitely a white collar crime. I think this is actually the first time we brought up a white collar crime.
For sure.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, like Southern California or somewhere, maybe even Nevada.
Break it down, guys. Come on. You gotta.
I'm going to go Florida. I'm just going to commit. We're too much dead air. I'm going to commit Florida.
I'll go with California.
Brent?
I'll go with California.
Holy shit. Ryan, great job, man. You beat the guess for like the second time ever, I think. Yes, that was absolutely a Florida man story. And do you want to know why? Because it was a white collar crime that I figured no one would guess Florida on, so I picked it just out of spite. So you're welcome.
Nice.
Yeah, honestly. So listeners, you're slacking. Okay. You know, I love you all, but I need some more submissions. Oh shit. I forgot to mention that the second one, the driving the ramp off the tow truck, that was sent in by Brian Hinnekamp from Tortuga Blade Works. So thank you very much, Brian. But yeah,
Brian's our guest next week.
Hell yeah. I love Brian.
Happy birthday, Brian. It was his birthday a couple days ago.
Yeah, it looked like he was enjoying a delicious meal. I saw that. But yeah, anyways, I need some more Florida man stories, guys. And for a while there, I was just getting them one after the other. I couldn't even keep up. And right now, I'm a little low. So get me some Florida man stories or some fake news stories. I love those too. I love doing fake news. Those ones are almost as much or more fun than the actual Florida man stories. So those have been great. So
yeah, those
are
wonderful. Okay,
go ahead.
What do you say we roll into the after show?
I think it's about time, but I think Brent had something to say, so let's let him finish this out, and we'll get off of here.
Oh, I was just gonna say that those so many of those Florida man stories and stuff, they all seem like they could be in California too. Like there's the amount of tweakers and stuff like that out here is like ridiculous. So they all sound like they could possibly be California to me.
Which is interesting because those states are like polar opposites politically and like You know what I'm saying?
And literally polar opposites of the country.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I work with a guy from Florida, and he's like, the exactly what you think of when you're telling these stories. But now he's living out here, and he's one of the coolest guys, super nice and everything. But you could totally pick him out of a lineup as a Florida man. So.
I have a vision in my head. I know exactly what you're saying.
I felt really out of place in Atlanta.
Did you?
Yeah. I felt like I stuck out like a sore thumb. There's not a lot of tattooed people in Atlanta, I noticed. Or at least not where we were.
Oh, I don't know. The only place I really remember being is Blade Show, and there was plenty of tattooed people there.
Well, yeah, there. And we went to that burger joint. That was a good place. The burger was good.
Shout
fries
out to
in
Dennis.
a metal. Yeah, shout out to Dennis Tyrell. But fries in a bowl is kind of weird.
Yeah, but they were kind of good. Like, they were a little too soft for my taste, but like, I'm a sucker for like a good flavorful fry. Like, people don't understand like what a delicacy fries are. Like, okay, so if you're listening to this podcast and you don't make your own fries, you need to try this. Okay, it's really not difficult. Okay, if you don't have a deep fryer, that's fine. You've got a pot in your house, right? Like one that has like the deep sides that you cook pasta in. Put 2 inches of oil in the bottom of that pan, and you can. I prefer peanut oil, but if all you have is like canola or something like that, no, you know what? Never mind. Don't use canola oil. That's poison. Okay, seed oils are going to kill everyone. So try some freaking peanut oil. Okay, it's a little more expensive, but it's worth it because the flavor is way better. You all make knives. Grab one of your knives, slice up some potatoes, rinse the starch off after you slice them up. Let them dry. So like pat them down with paper towels or stick them in the oven at like 100 degrees, like the lowest your oven goes, and let them dry because you don't want that much of that liquid in there. And then throw them in that pot and fry them up. Use like a pasta claw if you have to like fish them out so that it's all nice. Get yourself some good sea salt, okay? Not this kosher table salt crap. Get some sea salt, okay? Very easy to get a hold of. My favorite is called Saltwerk. It's Icelandic sea salt. You can get it on Amazon. It's freaking amazing. Okay, it's the best salt you're ever going to have in your life. It's like all of like the good salt flavor with like no bitterness to it. It's fantastic. That's all you need. Okay, so this is all stuff that is like you have in your kitchen generally at home, anyways. And you fry those bad boys up. You can stick them in like a strainer or just put them on some paper towels to get the oil to go off. Sprinkle that sea salt on there, and they're going to be the best dang fries you've ever had in your life, okay? Like, stop buying frozen tater tots and frozen fries from the store. Like, this is really not difficult, and it is freaking amazing.
I never knew you were such a French fry connoisseur.
Dude, I love French fries, okay? Like, I have a separate stomach that is made just for French fries. So when I eat, I can have like 2 or 3 burgers, and that fills up my stomach. And then I can eat like 3 pounds of French fries that go into a separate stomach that doesn't have any influence on how full I am whatsoever. It's a special skill I have.
Fries are their own meal for me. I'm a straight up potato face, man. Like, I'm only like 2 generations removed from Ireland, so like potato everything. I'll eat any potatoes. Boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew.
Beat me to it.
Anyways,
damn it. I was
what do you say we
there.
roll over to the Yes. We're going to roll over to the after show, everybody. Brent, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Now we'll talk about the dirty shit in the after show, so
nice.
Everybody give us money and come over there. Bye, everybody.
Go to patreon.com/hustleandgrind.